Women wake up with nightmares every day, with blood in her mouth. She's terrified. What's even stranger, her life quietly changes. When she's hungry, she took out a rare steak and began to eat it and ended up licking the blood off the plate. What made her so strange? A few days ago, Rose was an ordinary employee, but a car accident ruined her. Rose woke up in the hospital. Her head was covered with gauze. The attending doctor told her, "You are disfigured. Your jaw is broken." And the more she heard, the more frightened Rose became. After a while, the nurse removed all the gauze. Rose picked up the mirror. Half of her face was gone. All that was left was the hideous bed of teeth. Rose wanted to cry, but the stitches prevented her from opening her mouth. It was devastating for a 20-year-old girl. Even when she got home, she cried every time she looked in the mirror. Even though it's a devastating blow, but life goes on. She can only eat with a syringe, but most of the soup would still come out of the wound. But that day, Rose got an ad in her mailbox. It said they could heal all the wounds that had disfigured her, and even make her more beautiful than before. Accompanied by her best friend, Rose went to the hospital. After carefully examining the wounds, decided to invite Rose to participate in a new experimental surgery. Rose was a little worried, but in order to live a normal life, she agreed to the surgery. But little did she know that this decision would plunge her into an even more terrifying abyss. A few hours later, the doctors immediately scheduled the operation. Wearing blood-red scrubs, surrounded by nurses, the doctor took a piece of jelly-like gel and put it on Rose's wound. And that was the end of the surgery. The next day, Rose awoke in her hospital bed. She went to the mirror. Bit by bit, she removed the gauze. It was a miracle. The hideous wounds were gone. She was even more beautiful than before. But just as Rose was happy, her stomach rumbled, as if she had been hungry for a long time. The next moment, she left the room like a different person. Late night. Never let a strange woman into your car. This man is the best lesson of all. He thought he'd made a fortune tonight, but in less than an hour, a woman bit him in the throat. Ever since Rose had plastic surgery, every night, she has an insatiable hunger. Only the blood of the living can satisfy it. So she's always looking for prey. After eating, she would wake up from her bed. She has no memory of what happened last night. And this day, she was hungry for another prey. So they started beating each other. They didn't stop until the man's lips were bloody. At that moment, Rose felt that she had done her job. She let go of the man and quickly walked away. From that moment on, a nationwide virus spread. The man turned out to be an actor. He was filming a movie. Suddenly his body went up in flames. He became violent and almost strangled his partner. Everyone pulled him away just in time. But can he really be restrained? Apparently not. Suddenly, he attacks another actor. The man throws him to the ground. Then he jumps on him and starts biting. It's obvious. The virus has taken hold of him. The chain reaction has started. The wounded man attacked a nurse and bit a security guard. Within days, there was a full-blown outbreak, and the people who started it didn't even know it was happening. Rose went to the doctor who operated on her. She asked him why she had nightmares every night, why they were so real, but the doctor just said, "You're just dreaming. It's not real," and told Rose that it could be the aftermath of a car accident. Don't worry about it. And Rose believed it, so she didn't go any further. But she didn't know something terrible was about to happen. This woman is so strange. Whenever a man touches her, her body will immediately have a physical reaction. So as not to make a fool of herself, she hid in the toilet. She opened her mouth. It was full of spikes. There was even a sharp ulcer. She was terrified. She said goodbye to her friend and ran away. And when the sun went down, Rose had lost her face. To avoid being discovered, she panicked and fled into a dark alley. But a man saw her crying, chased her inside to comfort her. The next day, Rose awoke from her bed. Her face was back to normal. It seemed like another nightmare, but she didn't know. The virus that started with her had spread across the country. Countless people were infected and dying. At the same time, a fashion show was being organized. Rose was a designer. Of course, she's still very busy. And that's when the attending doctor called her and told her seriously, "You'd better come to the hospital for a few days." Rose looked at the upcoming show. She had no choice but to refuse. But little did she know, the show would soon be over. Because the models were infected, they could turn at any moment. Someone outside the room has gone rogue. The killing is about to begin. One by one, the models come out from behind the curtain. Soon after, one model comes out with a bloody face. She looks in horror at the woman behind her. It's clear that this woman has hurt her. Danger is approaching. The next moment, she jumps at the audience. Outside the room, mutants enter the room. It's out of control. Rose is carried off by her boyfriend. They arrive at the hospital and find the doctor in charge. The doctor leads them into a dimly lit consulting room. Then he quickly closes the metal door. It turns out that it was all a plot by the doctor. He was looking for immortality, so he developed a new technology. He even involved his cancer-stricken wife in the experiment. But the experiment failed. She turned into a monster. Then he targeted Rose, who was disfigured. When she realized the truth, Rose stabbed the doctor's wife to death. Then she killed himself in front of the doctor. After that, the host died and the virus disappeared. The world was once again at peace.